when you start anything, the first step, you're excited. And then you take another step and another step. The enthusiasm from the beginning starts to fade out.
Your future is in your hands. You know what that means? You got to work on your mind. Fortify yourself. You got to upgrade, level up your skill set. You want to be in a community of collaborative, supportive relationships that's going in your direction. And anybody that don't have the mindset that you have, let them go.
He lost sight of the long-term goal, and it faded. It faded from memory, and the passion dried up, so we stopped the daily tasks that will allow us to achieve our goals. And you began to rationalize. Maybe I can't. Maybe I don't really want to. Maybe this goal isn't for me. And so you give up. You let it go. No. Don't do that.
If you understand completely what I'm going to tell you from this moment on, your life will never be the same again. The things you want just seem to fall in line. And from now on, you won't have the problems, the worries, the gnawing lump of anxiety that perhaps you've experienced before. They'll be things of the past. Here's the key to success. We become what we think about.
When you go to sleep at night, how are you going to feel about your day? All depends on who you decide to include in your day. You got 24 hours in a day. Stop running around acting as if you don't have a choice. You do have a choice.
Don't let neglect destroy your days, destroy your life, and destroy your future. Go back and do what you can. And if you'll do what you can, then life will give you some extraordinary things to do. You got to take care of the small disciplines before life will give you a chance to handle the more complicated disciplines.
You've got to control the beginning and the end of your day with your thinking. And so one of the first things you need to do when you wake up is to take a 5-minute window and you visually see your goals and dreams. Picture them as videos in your mind. Picture them as you possessing them and see them written down on a sheet of paper. This will begin to control your mind for the day.
I want that long-term goal to be so embedded in my mind that I never lose sight of it. Ever. And the little tasks and projects and short-term goals that you tackle need to lead towards strategic victory, winning the long war.
Start working a plan to get there and minimizing everything else. Getting very clear on the mission. Very clear on the mission. And working the plan. Everything else, guess what it gets? A no. When you do things, do them intentional. Do the things that are going to move you forward.
Every day, do something that moves you toward that goal, that keeps that goal alive and in sight and in focus. However small or insignificant that step might seem, take it. Do it. Make it happen. Because that goal isn't going to achieve itself.
Waking up early, working out every day, if you start with those two kind of cornerstones, and then the other thing is, figure out what you're going to do during the day. Don't go to bed without a plan of how you're going to handle the next day.
To go forward or to go back. You're going to always have that decision. I made all of my dreams bigger than my fears. So when I felt like quitting, the results would have been devastating to the goal I was trying to attain. My motivation was, I was just exhausted from poverty.
See, whatever you're worried about, if someone called you right now and say, listen, you got 2 days to live, I'm telling you, you won't be worried about your bills, ladies and gentlemen. Look at your life right now. If you want to keep on getting what you're getting, keep on doing what you're doing. You've got to be willing to change your ways.
You do have a choice.
You love rumors. You love issues. You love problems. You love people calling you with their problems. You love it. That's why at the end of every night you are drained, because you are submerged yourself in dysfunctional things, people, and situations.
I have a schedule, and I execute the schedule. Parts of my day are very structured. Parts of my day are very disciplined, which gives me freedom in other parts of the day.
I was sick of living in my car. I've been living in my car for 3 years. I was sick of not having money. And so for me to quit, and see, that's what people do. People quit when it's at their hardest moment. But if it's at your hardest moment, why would you quit? I mean, think about it. If you're going through hell, why stop there? Move, keep going.
Your life is working. If you don't like what you have produced, you're a director, you are the star, you wrote this script. If you want to begin to make yourself happen for you, I think that it's very important that you start trusting yourself. Listen to yourself. Don't try and make everything logical. There's some things about life that defies logic, that you just can't explain how the outcome is going to be.
And then at the very end of the day, what I do, one of the last things I do after my prayer is I read through my goals and my dreams. I picture them when I get my sleep. It's going to work on revealing to me. It's playing back the video, believe it or not, of my day in my mind, and it helps me wake up ready to get them as well.
They have the magic touch. You've heard them say that about someone. Everything he touches turns to gold. And have you ever noticed that a man who becomes successful tends to continue to become successful? It's because of goals. Some of us have them, some don't. People with goals succeed because they know where they're going.
And you are here this week to learn vital information about creating a future and be defined by a vision of the future instead of the memories of the past.
Why? We conform. And the trouble is that we're acting like the wrong percentage group, the 95% who don't succeed. These people believe that their lives are shaped by circumstances, by things that happen to them, by exterior forces. They're outer-directed people.
A habit is something you do without giving it any conscious thought. And you know that most people live by habit. They don't think. The late and great Dr. McFarland from down in Kentucky said 2% of the people think, 3% of the people think they think, and he said 95% of the people would rather die than think.
The wonderful thing is if you do what other successful people do, you eventually get the same result that they do. Most people are broke up until their 40s and 50s. So if you're broke today, you're just one of the gang. The only question is, do you stay there? And the answer is no.
If you are not defined by some vision that is bigger than you, and you are not passionate about that vision, then you're left with the old hardware of the past in your brain, and you will be predictable in your life.
Now, when I started off in this many years ago, I came from very poor beginnings. I dropped out of high school. I could only get laboring jobs. I was told, by the way, if you don't get a good education, you won't do well in life. And I believed that for a long time until I found there's hundreds of thousands, millions of people who dropped out of high school who went on to become millionaires and billionaires as well.
A survey was made one time that covered a lot of men, working men, and these men were asked this question: why do you get up in the morning? 19 out of 20 had no idea. If you ask them, they'll say, everyone goes to work in the morning, and that's the reason they do it.
Learning is the beginning of life change. Some people want to start with motivation. You don't start with motivation. You can tell we don't spend that much time on motivation. And we're here, enough motivation, certainly. But here's the best motivation we've got going. When we bring our dedication and let it show. We let the work of our hands show. That's the motivation.
You've got to learn how to walk by faith and not by sight. That once you begin to trust yourself, life takes on a whole new meaning, because now I want you to do that feeling that you are led.
When we think a new thought, literally opens a space up in our minds, in our lives, that never existed before prior to having that thought. And what happens is your unconscious and subconscious mind goes to work on filling in that space with the people, places, resources, and things to fill up that space and fully furnish it. That's the power of how we think.
You are thinking in the past. And so most people then spend the majority of their life talking about why they never arrive at their vision of the future because of some past experience.
You can exercise them, and you can literally create the start of anything because you are creative. The only thing about a man that is a man is his mind. Everything else you can find in a pig or a horse.
At some point, we all bought into this lie that you've got to feel ready in order to change. At some point, you're going to have the courage. At some point, you're going to have the confidence. And it's complete garbage. And so there are so many people in the world, and you know, you may be watching this right now, and you have these incredible ideas, and what you think is missing is motivation. And that's not true.
We say that success is not an accident. Failure is not an accident. So if you just follow the tracks of other successful people, no matter where you're starting from, you eventually get to the same place that they get. The two most important things we need to have to be happy and healthy is a sense of control, things are happening for a reason, and a sense of coherence, a feeling that things fit together.
Just get stronger. Get better. We've all got those personal winters. I'm asking all of you to get better in spite of the winters, in spite of the downturn. The money downturn, the social downturn, the personal downturn, whatever it is. The key is not to wish for a better winter. The key is to wish for more strength, more wisdom, more courage, get better, get wiser, get stronger.
Some of you are having problems with battles of things you're trying to change and you can't change them. Old habits that you were keeping for the last 20 years and now you want to change and it's tough to change. If you keep watching pornography, you keep reading dirty books, now the first time you see it, it doesn't bother you. But if you keep seeing it, it becomes downloaded.
When an idea comes into your mind, you want to ask yourself this question. Don't ask whether it's wrong or whether it's right. That's not the question. You know what the question is? Will that idea take me from where I am and move me in the direction of the star that I'm shooting at?
You're never going to feel like it. Motivation's garbage. You only feel motivated to do the things that are easy. Why is it so hard to do the little things that would improve my life? And what I've come to realize, the way that our minds are designed, is our minds are designed to stop you at all costs from doing anything that might hurt you.
But now let's make these notes now on setting goals. The promise of the future is an awesome force. We look back for experience, but we have to look forward now for inspiration. And what gives us inspiration to get up in the morning and do our job, learn skills, develop all that we can possibly be, is the promise of the future. And it can be so powerful that it can overwhelm any adversary you might have, any difficulties you might have. Here's a key phrase: reasons make the difference in how your life works out. Reasons make the difference in your appetite and zest for taking on the challenge, doing the job, becoming successful. Mr. Shoaff said, if you have enough reasons, you can do the most incredible things. You can get through the most difficult day. You can overcome the most unbelievable challenges if you have enough reasons. And so he said to me, if you haven't got a list of your goals, Mr. Rohn, it's probably because you don't have enough reasons. He said, I'm sure since I've met you, you have enough intelligence. And he said, you have enough good health. And he said, you have, all of those things working for you. But here's what you must work on now is to have enough reasons. Looking into the future, developing reasons. Okay. Now here's a note to make. It's important to make sure that the greatest pull on your life is the pull of the future. Some people let the past pull them back. The past can be like gravity if you let it to pull you back. Some people live in the past. They live in the darkness of the past. They live in the mistakes of the past. They live in the discouragement of the past. They didn't make it, and that affects them for the rest of their life, living in the past. So we don't want the past to pull us back to live in the past. So make this note: dreams and goals can become magnets. Dreams and goals can become magnets. And the stronger the goal, the higher the purpose, the more powerful the objective, the stronger this magnet is that pulls you that direction. Now, not only does your goals and your objectives pull you that direction, here's what they also do. They pull you through. They pull you through all kinds of down days. They pull you through a difficult time. It'll pull you through some winter of your life. Some people get lost in the confusion of the day simply because their goal is not bright enough to pull them through. Next, it's goals that drive us to take advantage of the spring. Why would the farmer put the plow in the ground in the spring if he couldn't see the vision of the harvest when the summer is finished? Is it possible to see the finished harvest? And the answer is yes. We do that simply by faith. Key phrase: faith is the ability to see things that don't yet exist. So here's what we want to do in our goal setting session, is to start looking into the future of what you would like to accomplish, where you would like to go, the person you would like to be, and see if you can't get a better picture of the finished objective. See yourself there. See yourself in possession of. For your dreams to greatly influence you, or the future to pull you, your future must be well planned. There are two ways to face the future. One is with apprehension, the other with anticipation. Guess how many people face the future with apprehension? Why? They don't have it well designed. And without really thinking about it, they have probably bought someone else's view of how to live. You will face the future with anticipation when you have planned a future you can get excited about. When you have designed your future results in advance. In this way, the future will capture your imagination. it will exert an enormous influence on you. And to design your future, you must have goals. Well-defined goals are like a magnet. They pull you in their direction. And the better you have defined them, the better you have described them, the harder you work on them, the stronger they pull. And they pull you through all kinds of difficulties too. Without goals, it is easy to let life deteriorate to the point where you're just making a living. It is not difficult to get trapped by economic necessity and settle for existence rather than substance. We all have a choice. We can either make a living or design a life. Now we're going to take some time to actually start designing the next 10 years of your life. We're going to start setting your goals. Goal setting is one of the most important skills to develop if you want to design your future. I'm going to give you enough homework not only to keep you busy for the rest of your life, but also to help you create the kind of life you may have always dreamed about living, but never believed possible. So let's get on with it. The sooner you exert the discipline, the sooner you will be enjoying the results. Once the results start to come, believe me, you won't mind the hard work and discipline it's going to take.
My iPhone has my vision board on it. I ain't got no picture of no dog or my wife on my phone. My wife is at my house. Because I put stuff that I dream about on my iPhone. So every time my phone rings, I look at it. I think of my visions and dreams. Every time I pick up that phone, I should pick up that phone to make one of them dreams come true. So every time I'm texting or email, I'm trying to make a dream come true. I don't have time for nonsense. What they say about me in the blogs, it don't matter what they say. They don't know me. God keeps blessing me. It don't matter what you say. You got to know who you are and whose you are. I know who I am and I know who I belong to. And that God of mine ain't gonna let nothing happen to me.
We all have people that come against us, make negative comments. Human nature is to get in there and try to straighten them out, prove to them how they're wrong. But the problem with this approach is as soon as you get one person straightened out, 3 more will pop up. If you're constantly trying to defend yourself, you'll get distracted fighting battles that you were never supposed to fight. Do you know how much energy it takes to try to pay somebody back? You are spending emotional energy that you need for your dreams. You don't have to defend yourself. God said He will defend you. Quit worrying about the chatter, the negative comments. Those are all distractions. Well, Joel, I'm upset because I'm a good person. Doesn't matter how good you are, kind, upstanding, somebody's not going to like you. It happened with Jesus. He did nothing but good, but He was falsely accused. He was misunderstood. How did He protect His reputation? It says in 1 Peter, even though He had never sinned, He did not retaliate when He was insulted. He left His case in the hands of God. How much more peace you would have if you would start leaving your cases in the hands of God. I can assure you, God can vindicate you better than you can vindicate yourself. You don't have to try to pay people back, convince them to change their mind. Some people are never going to be for you. They're intent on misunderstanding you. They don't want to see your point of view. Now don't go the next 5 years engaged in a battle that you're not supposed to be engaged in. Quit worrying about what they think. Quit getting all riled up thinking about how you can retaliate. I'm not going to spend my life worried about what somebody's saying, upset because they don't like me. God, I know you're my defender. That's when the creator of the universe will go to work. When they try to make you look bad, he'll turn it around and cause you to look good. He'll cause you to shine. Quit spending all your time trying to defend yourself. You have a defender. He knows how to bring justice. He knows how to vindicate you. If you're consumed with what other people think, I've got to convince them to believe in me, then you'll get distracted and miss your destiny. God said He will fight your battles. He'll take care of that friend that's trying to make you look bad. God knows how to settle your case. People can dislike you without a cause. It'd be one thing if they knew you and didn't like you, but they judge you from a distance. They don't like you because you're happy, because you're a different nationality. They'll attack you behind your back and try to belittle, discredit you. Are you going to get offended and try to straighten them out and get involved in a battle that you're not supposed to fight? They don't control your destiny. One of the best things we can learn to do is ignore it. That's how you leave it in the hands of God. And the more successful you are, the higher you go, more people will come against you. Everybody loved you until you got that promotion, until you married that beautiful girl. Now the critics have come out of the woodwork. What the best strategy is to get even, can I tell you what it is? Be still. God said in Jeremiah, I will defend you. I will take on your case. Can you imagine having the creator of the universe defending you? You don't have to try to prove to people who you are. You can stay in peace knowing that it's not your battle. It's your case, but the battle is the Lord's. Can I tell you, He's never lost a case. Why don't you sit back and let your defender do his job? God takes it seriously when somebody tries to discredit you. You don't have to get upset. God sees what's happening. And sometimes He'll cause them to be quiet. Other times He'll let them keep talking and just keep promoting you. They think they're hurting you. The truth is they're helping you. God is paying you back by taking you to new levels. That's your defender at work. I talked to a gentleman a while back, and he was very upset because his boss was against him. And I told this man what I'm telling you, that God is your defender. Don't live frustrated trying to straighten your boss out. Just keep being your best. You're not working under people, you're working under God. This man went back to the office with a new attitude. And one day, the CEO of the whole company was in town. The CEO was very impressed with his work. About a year later, a position came available that should have gone to his boss, but this CEO offered the position to this man. Now, instead of having to work for this boss that's hard to get along with, the tables have turned. The boss is working for him. It says in Psalms, touch not my anointed. You are His anointed. God has heard every negative word spoken against you. Like with this man, vindication is on the way. New levels are coming. God is going to make things happen that you could never make happen. Quit living frustrated, trying to win somebody over that's never going to be for you. Everybody's not supposed to be for you. You don't have to try to pay them back, get even. Just run your race with purpose, with joy, and let the negative bounce off of you. I don't mean to be negative, but somebody's always going to be talking about you. Somebody's always going to be jealous. That's not your battle. How much freer could you live if you would start leaving those cases in the hands of God? And as long as you're honoring God, no person can stop you, no group. Promotion doesn't come from people, it comes from the Lord. Some people, no matter what you do, are not going to be for you. Not everyone is going to like you or understand you. If you want everybody to like you, you'll get stuck. How much time are you spending worried about what they're saying? Trying to pay that friend back for making you look bad. You don't have time for all that pettiness. Let it go in one ear and out the other, and use that energy to move toward your God-given dreams.
So one of my favorite quotes by Ralph Waldo Emerson is that the most difficult thing for a man to do is to be himself in a world that's constantly trying to change him. So what do? Easier said than done, but what I have to do is you've got to ignore everyone. If you want to be true to yourself without being sullied by the opinions, either good or bad, negative or positive, because they're both forms of slavery. You've got to close your door. You've got to shut off your phone. You've got to shut off your computer. You've got to sit down and you've got to be with yourself and God and let it speak through you purely. Become a hollow reed, unobstructed by the opinions, positive and negative, of other people.
What people think about you and the possibilities for your dream is none of your business. They have no imagination, ladies and gentlemen. Let me share something with you. History is being read, but it's also being written by people with imagination. You've got to find ways to increase your sense of self-appreciation, because if you don't program yourself, life will program you. Are you surrounding yourself with people that can nourish you? Is your life an adventure or is it boring? You don't want to ever put yourself in a situation where you have a limited vision and you're only using a limited amount of your talents and of your abilities.
Hey there, welcome to my YouTube channel Daily K Motivation 2024. Become mentally strong. First step, you're excited, and then you take another step and another step. The enthusiasm from the beginning start to fade out. Your future is in your hands. That means you got to work on your mind, fortify yourself. You got to upgrade, level up your skill set. You want to be in a community of collaborative, supported relationship that going in your direction, and anybody that don't have the mindset that you have, let him go. You lost sight to the goal, and if feed it from memory, and the possession dried up. So stop it. The daily task that will always use to goals, and you begin to maybe I can, maybe I don't really want to, maybe this goal is for me, and so you give up it. You go, no, don't do that. If you understand completed what I am going to tell you from this moment on, your life will never be that same again.